All right. It is 7 o'clock, and that means it's time for Toolbox Tuesday. This is our weekly webinar series where we help put tools in your toolbox to pound out problems and sharpen your saw. Tonight, we're in for a treat. Our webinar topic is Free Toast Host and Your Club Website. Our trainer tonight is District 106 trainer Brian Peters. I've known Brian for a number of years. One of the things that I really appreciate about Brian is he always comes prepared to give a great presentation. So I'm not going to hold you back. I'm going to turn it over to Brian right away. Brian, thanks for coming tonight. We're looking forward to your presentation.
Thank you, Dave. I appreciate it. Welcome, everyone. I'm glad to be here this evening, and I'm very much looking forward to sharing what I have experience with websites. And before we really get into some of the details, if you come in, and we'll ask a few questions in a few minutes, but I want to set just kind of some expectations before we get too far into it. And maybe it won't be too intimidating, but I'm not a web designer. I'm technical. I like computers and I can figure things out, but by no means am I apt or capable of programming or creating a new website. But that's the beauty of what I'm about to share, is that however good you are at creating documents and managing information, this website and this process really is taken care of for you. So that's what I'm hoping to share with you this evening, is show you some basics. What this will not be is a tutorial and a demonstration on how to set up a website. I'll show you some background information, some backdoor information perhaps on the website as an administrator, that you can see how the website is created. But what I'm not going to show you is how to create a brand new website out of thin air. I'll show you the steps to get there, but I'm not going to walk you through those steps. What I'm going to focus on more is the process of using that website as a tool. How can you leverage that website to make communication simpler in your club, to make it easier for everyone to participate in the clubs, in the meetings? And there is another panelist that just joined. Hello, Lisa. So Lisa is our website administrator for District 106, and she's going to be here also to help answer questions if I misspeak, or if she has something to add later. We're going to ask Lisa to speak up. Thank you, Lisa. And there's going to be questions and answers probably around the 30-minute mark is the target, maybe a little sooner or later depending on how the flow goes. And at that time, if there's any questions, we'll definitely hopefully be able to answer any questions you might have. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and start sharing my screen. And this is one of the benefits of conducting a Zoom meeting. And this would be a little bit harder if we're doing it in person in a room full of people like we're traditionally used to in Toastmaster meetings. But here with the webinar, this actually is a perfect environment for stepping through a website demonstration. So first, I thought I'd start with a small commercial for District 106. If you haven't already bookmarked D106tm.org, just wanted to quickly share this website. At the end of this, you'll see there's a club PR contest that's currently going on. And one of the categories this year is the best club website. Perhaps the information you learned today can help you to improve your club's website and submit for this contest. If I scroll down a little bit further, something we're also going to mention when we look at different club websites is to learn more about what other clubs are doing. And that first starts with research. What are they doing on their website? So I'm going to later look at different websites to get some ideas and get some thoughts. And a great way to complement this research of looking at their websites is go and visit those clubs as well and meet them in person, and maybe talk to their public relations VP and ask how they manage their website. So that's part of the District 106 Club Ambassador Program. So if you have a chance to look at what this entails, it's really essentially going out, visiting clubs, learning more about what other clubs what are they doing, what are their best practices, and bring it back to your own club. And lastly, I'm going to end on the Toolbox Tuesday, which you can see many of. If I click on this link, you can see past, or you can just see right here the previous. If I were to click on this link, it'll launch the YouTube video to watch those sessions in the past. Today is January 8th, 2019. So our agenda today is the Free Toast Host and Your Club website. My name is Brian Peters, and I'm excited to be here and looking forward to it. Before we get into the topic, we did have a few questions to ask just to get some feedback from the participants, of the audience. What's your background? So Dave, if you want to go ahead and launch the first question. There are 3 questions total. First question is, does your club have a Toastmasters club website? So yes or no, does your club have a Toastmaster club website? This is question 1. We have 10 participants total, so we're looking for everybody to click that yes or no, and Dave will pop up the second question of 3 as soon as we get that first one done. Dave, how? So the first one is 4 out of 5, so 4 yes and 1 no to having a club website. Great, thank you. Next question, Dave. And the second question is, do you use your website to help you organize and plan meetings? Yes or no? So if you have a website, so of the 4 people that said yes, do you use it to help you organize and plan your meetings? And the background information on that question is, well, but do you only use it for public relations, which some websites do as well? Do you use your website to help you organize and plan meetings? And it was split 50-50. So 2 people yes and 2 people no to using the website to help plan and organize meetings. And Dave, third question. And the last question, are you using Free Toast Host as your website? So of the 4, are you using the Free Toast Host website as your website? And spoiler alert, that is what we're going to talk about this evening, is the Free Toast Host software. Again, only looking for the 4 people to reply yes or no. Are you using the Free Toast Host as your website? The answer is about to pop up. Again, split 50-50. So we have 2 people yes, 2 people no. So I can't say for certain, but perhaps the 2 people that are using Free Toast Host are also the same 2 people that are using the meeting to schedule and plan meetings. Thank you, Dave, for facilitating those questions. First, we just mentioned Free Toast Host. I thought it'd be a great time. Let's introduce what is Free Toast Host. When this recording is complete, we'll make sure to capture these websites. So if you're watching this as a recorded video, these websites that we'll see here and the future websites that we look at as samples, I'll make sure to capture those and we'll put those in the YouTube comments. The first one is Free Toast Host. So this is what we're talking about. This is, as the name implies, free for Toastmasters International Clubs. And you can submit, if you go to toastmastersclubs.org, you can pull up this website and request a free Toastmaster Club website. It is free to your club. You do have to be registered, so you have to submit your club number, your name, and to begin the process. So if you are technical and have worked with websites in the past, this would be easy for you to manage. Even a non-website manager could go in and start to fill these things out. So I haven't personally done this, but I know in looking at the website that this is definitely within my capabilities, that without having developed a website, pretty much everything is set up for you. You just have to answer questions. There are things you might figure out, why does it do that? There's settings where you can change it, toggle it the other way. So we'll get into some of those examples a little bit later, but Free Toast Host. So as we're talking about these Toastmaster websites, and later we're going to look at a number of different club websites, you're going to see that a lot of them look very similar to this format. So what I'm planning to do, and I'm going to visit our club website. So this is my club. I'm in White Bear Lake, and in fact, you can see the gentleman sitting in the back right around in there is Mr. Dave Gibson. This is our club for our work. It's called Facility Improvement Masters. The name comes from the fact that we improve facilities. We're architects and engineers and construction folks, and we improve facilities. So we're the improvement masters. This is our website. It is a corporate club, even though it is public, but it's primarily focused for the intent of the corporate members. So it's a little bit different if you are completely a public club. So one of the things that I be critical of our own club website is that it's not really flashy. It's not a really good PR tool to advertise to for people to join our club. Now, can we improve that? I think so. I think we should, because there are still new employees that come on, and we try to recruit them into the club to improve their public speaking and their leadership skills. But as a general rule, today we use this website more as a tool than it is a PR function. So with that intent, keep that in mind, and we'll look at some other examples later that are better than ours in terms of that flow. But just for demonstrating, because I am a member and I can log in, I also have the site admin password so I can show some of the backdoor administrative functions as well. So first and foremost, I'm not logged into the website. This is what you see if anybody goes to fim.toastmastersclubs.org, they'll come to our website. We could create a QR code and put this on literature to advertise it as well. But this address, fim.toastmastersclubs.org, anybody can see. And what they would see is this information on the left in the menu and any information here on the right in these panes. So this is what we had set up. There's Find Your Voice, Transform Yourself. All of these builds are kind of standard functions within the websites. Now, again, I'm not going to get into the website design because I'm not strong in that area. But in terms of changing this picture, it's very simple to do. These menus on the left, you'll see many other clubs, and maybe you have this personal experience of seeing those menus. There'll be a lot more. So you can create more sub-menus to go to. And for example, I click on meeting information. This panel on the right changes to the meeting information. Where do we meet? When do we meet? The basic information. So a new person looking to join our club, they go to toastmasters.org, and they find a club, and they find this one's right down the street, and they want to go visit. Here's the information that they would find from toastmasters.org from that link. If I click on Contact Us, they can fill out their name and all of that information. It'll then filter that information to our VP PR. Let's Contact Us, the club calendar. We don't use that function. It's here, so I can click on it, but there is nothing on there other than our regular club meetings. If we created special meetings, and I'll do that a little bit later, you'll see them appear on the calendar as well. Public downloads, again, a prospective member. We have general information. You can create other folders, and you see many club websites actually do have a number of different folders. Again, free resources to prospective members that are interested to learn more about your club. Free resources, that's a redirect to Toastmasters International. A lot of websites do this, I've noticed. They have resources that tie back to the Toastmasters International website. Again, a prospective member looking to learn a little bit more about Toastmasters, get some tips on public speaking. All of this is value add to them. And the Toastmasters video as well.
Hello, I'm Stacy.
You probably can't hear it on my screen because it's playing through my computer, but you have, again, a link that goes directly to the Toastmasters International website. So that's some of the free information to the public. Again, our website is not very good at appealing, so I think I'd give this a C on an average score for trying to appeal to a prospective person, maybe even a C-. But really where the value comes in for us and the strength of this tool is some of the membership tools. And right now, all of these links don't work. These are links if I log in. So if I go ahead and I'm going to log in my name, there's 2 Brians in our club, so I have to enter in my last name as well. And then I type in my password and authenticate, log in. And now I'm logged in. So one of the first things that happens now, each of these members only buttons are hyperlinks, but if I scroll down a little bit, you're also going to see a member access log. So you get to scroll down and see some of the members that are in there and when was the last time they logged in. So it's just a public way to remind people to log in if they see somebody hasn't been in for quite a while. So you can look at meeting agendas, and that's really the primary function that we use this tool for. Again, there's many functions to this tool. So I'm going to click on meeting agendas, and it's going to pop me to the next meeting. The next meeting for us is on January 18th. So I have read-writes capability, so some of these icons are different, but if I just scroll down, I can see who they are. And we have pictures for many of our members. Some of the members are newer. We haven't yet gotten their pictures uploaded, and that's an action for us to do. It's nice to have those pictures. But you'll see our agenda has the Toastmaster, the first speaker, scroll down, second speaker, third speaker. It happens to be me next week. And I keep scrolling down. Then we have table topics, general evaluators. Now your club and your agenda might flow a little bit differently in terms of the timing and number of speakers. Maybe you have 2, maybe you have a different flow. That doesn't matter. And a little bit later, I'll show you the meeting agenda template. You create your own agenda and the time slot. So you see ours start at 8 o'clock a.m. You have a time flow that you follow based on your time of your meeting. And you allocate the time for each topic for that amount of time. And then each of the evaluators. So you can see for this meeting on January 18th, we actually have a number of positions still open. And the benefit of that is that we have the primary positions filled, and then we'll ask the club to sign up for some of the other roles. That's what we found to work well for us. We focus on those primary roles of Toastmaster, table topics, speakers, and general evaluator, and then often fill in the other ones throughout the week through volunteers of who can attend and who's available. So if I were to sign up, I can just go ahead and click on sign up, and you see it pops me right in. So I can confirm it. If something came up, now I realize I can't attend, I can just log back in as a meeting, and something came up, I gotta back out, I gotta remove myself from this role. So I'm no longer signed up, and it's real time. So if someone else comes in and sees it, they'll see that the position is open and they can fill it. So at any time, it's a real-time feedback of who's enrolled. So those are the positions of how you can have an agenda filled out and set up. Scroll back up to the top. One more piece before I go to the next section. You'll notice that there is a project title. So for the speakers, there is a section that has identify what speech you're doing. So if you choose manual and speech, and just to quickly review, I can collapse all so I can see any of the pathways and pick the speech that I'm doing. So if it happens to be presentation mastery, the icebreaker, I can choose that one. And the nice thing is this, I can click on this link to the project description. And if I click on this link, it'll take me to the evaluation form. So the evaluator can very easily download this form right from the website. So those are, I'm going to clear this out because that's not the speech I'm doing, but I'll figure out that later. In terms of a timing and a speech, that's a nice way to enter in the speech you're doing. You can also then enter in your speech title and your speech introduction. When you do this and you update your project speech details, only the Toastmaster and yourself and the VP of Education will be able to see those speech titles and speech introduction. So it's another good way to communicate for the Toastmaster to enter in this information right into this website. In terms of a speech title and an introduction, that information is saved in here for future use as well. So if you need to find out when did I do that speech, you'll see the speech titles in here. So those are the agendas for the next meeting. I can at any time view another agenda. The R by these two are the last 2 meetings. Those are reconciled. What that means is that following the meeting, we had some changes in positions. We made those adjustments. So the schedule that we had originally changed. We reconciled it. And also, we identified the attendees. So if I click on this last meeting, here is the reconciled meeting. And I actually did speak at the last meeting as well. I haven't spoken a lot recently, but I am the last meeting and this next meeting. But here is my introduction and my speech title. one of the things we can do is also look at attendance. So following the meeting, we can write in who was in attendance. So initially, for future meetings, many of them will be uncertain. Once they're scheduled, they go to yes, and some will be no's. Following the meeting, we can actually take attendance and use this tool to track who was in the meetings and run some reports later to show who was in the meetings. So another function of this could be for the secretary to use this tool to keep attendance. So how do we look at the meeting agendas to create them? So I can create a new agenda just by clicking on this button. And I'm going to go ahead and pick next week, Wednesday. And one of the first things you have to do, and this is part of the website design, is to design a template. And that's probably where most of the work comes in once you have those templates set up. And there are some samples, but I'm going to go ahead and pick this 3-speaker meeting agenda. The default time for that meeting template is 8 o'clock. So it's saying, do you want to update the start time? I'll say yes. So we have that start time. We click save, and I've just created a brand new meeting next week, Wednesday. I can click on the meeting description, the agenda items. So this is our standard agenda items. I'm creating the template for that meeting. If we decide that we want to add time to the Toastmasters, the speakers, we can edit this time here for 21 minutes. And again, on the attendance, right now, everybody is uncertain. If I know Brett is not going to be there, I'm going to say, no, he's not going to be there. And if I hit save, one of the benefits, if I'm looking to assign a Toastmaster, I'm going to click on click to assign a member. You'll see Brett Hazen, I said he's not going to attend the meeting. So now Brett Hazen is grayed out from that list. I can't assign him to be Toastmaster because he's already marked himself as no, I'm not attending. You'll also see the number 2, number 9, by all these numbers by their names. That represents the times they have served as Toastmaster in the club. Now that is back to when the club started, so it's a little bit slanted. So Cole Cameron, for example, is a brand new member. He's been 0 times. You can see I've been quite a few times, 9. Dave Gibson, you've been 8 times. I got you beat by 1. But you can definitely see we have been the Toastmaster many times. So again, a nice way to look at who has or has not been Toastmaster. Just as a tool, just a benefit. It may or may not be helpful. It's kind of mixed in my opinion if it really adds value. Because really, if I just want to look at the last 12 months, who has been recently. But again, the same position, if I click on a speaker, I can see who's done a lot of speaking. And if I go down to table topics, who's been the table topics often. So a nice tool to setting up brand new agenda. And I'm going to go ahead and hit save and close that out. And if I go back to now my meeting agendas, you'll see I have another one here that's on January 16th. That's the one we're looking at. Well, I just created this as a test. I don't want to get rid of it. So I'm going to go ahead and delete it. And guess what? They're very good at making sure you don't accidentally delete stuff. So before I can actually completely delete it, I actually have to go through another step of, in all caps, type the word delete to delete it out. So I can't accidentally delete a whole agenda that everybody signed up for and create a lot of work. So that's one of the benefits. You see some of these other icons. I can print this meeting agenda, so I'm coming to the meeting. I can go with the standard, so I'm going to select that and say, okay, so let's see what that looks like. There is a standard membership. Now, our standard isn't this way. I changed it so it shows everyone's picture. What we've done now is actually, and I was playing with the settings, so if you print it, I actually would prefer not to see everybody's photos. And I'll show you why in a second, because now as I get rid of everybody's photos, so now I only have roll times, roll descriptions, and meeting notes, and I'm going to hit OK. What I'm going to see now is a document that prints on one page. So sometimes there's a feedback process of trying it out, see what it looks like. There are the times that I had scheduled in the meeting agenda, and all of the positions filled with the members' names. Originally, we started with the pictures, but we found it took up a lot of space and really didn't add a lot of value since we're a corporate club. So again, find what works best for you. In this case, this is our agenda. So right before the meeting, we'll print these and bring them in, and it works well for us. So that's the meeting agenda. The other function you can do is email this agenda. So Our VP of Education has used this a number of times where they will send out the meeting and say, we still have a position open. Who's willing to take that role? And we simply do that. We have email templates that we've used, I have used, that we can pull up as samples. So, hi everybody, the agenda of the meeting is Friday is below. So it'll have all these notes. And what it looks like, I apologize, I had closed my email browser, but I'm going to pull that up right now. So here is a sample email that I received from Sharon. Hey, hi everyone, we still have open enrolls for tomorrow. Please sign up. So I can see on this email what positions are available. So evaluator, all these positions were still available. And if I see something I like, I can just click on this link. It's going to open up my browser to that page. Here it comes. And again, this was for the last meeting on January 4th, but there it is. So if that position were still open, well, I was late to it. I saw that Dave already filled that position, so they don't need me anymore. And that's one of the benefits of having it on the website. It's real time. So you don't have the logistic of waiting for Sharon to tell you, oh yeah, we already filled it. So you can see it immediately. So that is the meeting agenda, how it can be shared. And to me, that's one of the best values for us as a club, is that it really takes a lot of the work out of managing the assignments and the agendas. I will say what we still do and what we found to work best for us is to still manage planning of those speakers in a spreadsheet. So we use that to plan out who's speaking in which week and planning that out through the rest of the Toastmaster year. And then 4 weeks out or 6 weeks out, we'll put their names into the agendas. So that's how we've used the tool, especially with the agendas, to communicate and regularly communicate with the club. Another feature I really like, and this is the club email addresses down below. And with club officers changing every 12 months, it's nice to have a new person assigned in this website. And you can see this role, this email for Matthew Connell, the president. Whomever is the VPE, you could always have that same email address. So your area director, you can give them that address of the VPE, and whomever it is next year, they'll get that email because they'll be updated in their website. But especially what I've used the most often is this one as members. When I was the president, to be able to just type in members dash and that address, I could send a broadcast and email to all club members and quickly just let them know something's up. So or let them know some news information. So-and-so did great at the speech contest. So those kind of announcements or news flashes were really good to be able to communicate. So these club email addresses, I didn't have to manage and maintain my own separate address contact list. So those club email addresses are useful. To set up the templates for the agendas, again, this is more on system design. Here's the agenda templates where you can select a new one or create a brand new template. Again, I'm not going to get into this level of detail, so I apologize. Perhaps another day I think we could probably have a half-hour discussion just on creating an agenda. We could have probably an hour or more discussion on creating all of the design of the website. But again, I just wanted to show you some of the benefits of using this website and how you could start using it as a functional tool. So one other thing I wanted to quickly show, and I'm not going to get into detail with this, but I wanted to show you some of the backdoor information. So I'm going to log in as the site administrator. And I need to type in my password. And nothing really changes on the website except for one thing, and that's this little box right here. It says Launch Admin Console. Other things, there's a little pencil here. That means you could edit this content right in this place. So if I clicked on meeting information, you can edit this information right from that spot. So again, as the administrator, this is where I can go ahead and start typing another piece of information to put into the website. So I'm going to close that without saving it. I'll say, nope, don't save that change. So I didn't modify the website, but that's how simple it is as the administrator to update this meeting information on a website. But what really gets into the design is this this interface. And this is where you can get into the website statistics, the appearance, some of the basic settings, some of the words that are there, the home page, the meeting information. There was the homepage, and that's where you can upload a new picture. There's a lot of formatting functions built into this tool as well. Social links for the website. So for the club, you'll see some later that when I show some examples, they're in here. And there's other interfaces as well, membership management. So all of your members will be listed in here, and this is where you can change their roles. So you can have their officer role defined in here. And again, back to that officer list, that's how it knows who is the VP of PR and who's the secretary and treasurer. That happens to be me. So this is the information on your members. You have a list of prospects that you can add, or guests. We can add guests into this list. Former members, friends, affiliates, all of the membership management. There are other custom file manager, custom web pages that you can build into this. A lot of flexibility. The dues management. This is a function, again, we don't use because we're corporate membership, but there's a great process to automate sending out invoices to your club members. You can bring it up in the business, but you can also manage your cash, your tracking the payments in this tool as well. Again, I apologize because we don't use this function in our club, but many clubs could and probably do utilize this as a process to manage, as the treasurer, to manage who's paid for their membership. So again, that's some of the look at the site administration functions. Gives you a little peek as well into some of the other capabilities of the website.
Hey, Brian.
So, yes, Dave.
You logged out. Sorry, I was going to have you go to membership management before you logged out.
Oh, I'm sorry. I will do that. Thought you meant we logged out of the meeting.
No.
So membership management.
So it's under admin console, then the drop down.
Thank you.
This is where you would add and remove members.
Correct.
Or assign club officers.
Correct. So adding a member, I don't see adding a new member in here.
To add a member, you just simply type it in that very first line that's blank.
So right there it is. John Doe. Who knows who he is? Nobody does. But you could type in their email address and then just click save when you're done. Perfect. Thank you, Lisa. Thank you very much. So this is where we build. This is the build for the all members email that gets sent out.
Another nice feature from this is where you can go in and select your members, and unfortunately, if they have now left you and saved them as former members, you check them on the left, and then you can just save them either to former members or even with prospects and guests. So when you track all of these people in there, you put them in there, and then you can easily move them from list to list by simply checking to the left and then getting that drop down like you're showing there and move them from list to list so you don't have to retype. It's fabulous.
Yes, that's perfect way. And you have somebody entered in as a guest, and when after they're done being a guest, you can click on them and let's move them to the member list. So that is a great way to do it. Thank you, Lisa, again. So in the essence of time, just for a couple more minutes, I wanted to show some other websites to just give a feel for what I've seen. I close this one. So AC Early Risers, this is where I'd implore you to go start looking at other club websites and see if you can come up with some additional ideas. What I liked about AC Early Risers, I've visited this club, nice location. And what I liked about this is, I've seen other websites do this, they have a section called Meet Our Members. And they'll have their names and a bio. And you can edit your own bio. So this is their biography or their information. Down here, I am logged in. No, I'm not logged in here, but if I go back to in here, I'm going to log out as site admin, but I'm logged in as myself. I can edit my profile. And this is where I can put in my email address, my social links. So if I have a Facebook, I can put that in. I don't have a bio correctly, but I do have a picture, but I could add a biography about myself. And if you do type anything in here into your own bio, that's when you come into functions like this, where you can build it into meeting the members. So it's a good publicity for a prospective member to learn a little bit about the backgrounds of the club members. What kind of diversity or what kind of experience do people have? So I liked a lot of this information. Here was another one. This is up in Duluth, Harborview Toastmasters. You can see they really went out compared to our style of traditional blue and white and the default. They really took advantage of controlling their environment and started changing colors. But the other piece I like about it is they have meeting minutes in here as well. And I click on Meet Our Members. So in addition to the text, they've also encourage people to put in LinkedIn links. So if I want to learn more about Ed, I can click on that LinkedIn link. It'll take me to more about Edward. So a good networking opportunity for the members to learn more about each other. And lastly, if I were to go learn more about someone else's club in my area, I live in Roseville area, so that's kind of in this neck of the woods. And if you click on this map, when you go to toastmasters.org, type in your city and you find clubs around you. So Four Seasons Club, I haven't been to this one, so you can just click on website. It'll launch in a new window and you can get more feedback. So here's another idea for a website. You can see they used a photo collage to upload a picture of their club. So that's a nice way to, not just in one picture, just kind of expose different aspects of their club. You'll see they have different size fonts on the left-hand side. They have a winter schedule, so they have a different way or process for scheduling out people. And this way, if I was GoPoo, I can just look at what my roles are for the coming up weeks. So another way to look at it, I liked in their club, they have club speech videos. So they have kind of some highlights. And I would imagine they don't put up every club speech in here, but they've put up some highlights. Could be something your club does as well to promote your club. So a lot of different ways to find ideas, and Free Toast Host as a general tool, I think is fantastic. It really takes a lot of the guesswork and rework of something that's standard across Toastmasters International. And there are a handful of clubs that don't use Free Toast Host and come up with some great designs as well. But for the average club that does not have a web developer in them, it's a great tool to just come up with a standard, and there's still plenty to play with to make this flexible. So with that, I would like to transition to questions and invite Lisa if you have any other comments that you would like to add. You're welcome to do so, and otherwise we'll open it up to questions.
Sure, and while Dave's looking at the questions, just some of the things, I don't want people to be afraid of Free Toast Host. They do a really great job of outlining this information that's out there for you. Also on Free Toast Host, they give you the ability to have support on it, and on their website on freetoasthost.com, you can go in and there are tutorials on there that walk you through a lot of this information. So you can do a few different layout differences that you want on your websites and add pictures, add pages, all that you want, and test them out with various different people. And you can also have the links to, if you have a Facebook page or a LinkedIn, that your social media pages, as long as you put that information in there, will be available for you. And they do a really good job at Free Toast Host to keep things up to date with the laws and all that sort of thing, with the opt-in. So you can't just go in anymore and put people in there with their email addresses and their names. You do that right away, but then what it does when you add either a member or prospect, it'll send, Free Toast Host automatically sends an email out to those people, and they have to opt in, excuse me, within 30 days in order to actually be added onto your list. And then they'll show on your list with a line through their name to show that they have not opted in, and then they'll be automatically removed from the list. Now, Free Toast Host does not give us an email system. So the emails that are out there with like members dash your club number, that is strictly for people that are members of your club to have access to. So if I'm not a member of your club and I put in members dash your club number at freetoasthost.com or toastmastersclubs.com or org, it will not go. it'll block it. It is not an email server. It's simply a forwarder to the email addresses that are automatically or that you load within the system. Now, you do have the capability to make a single member group a public email address. So, but it's simply a forwarder. It doesn't keep it. So you have to have, everybody has to have their own email address outside of Free Toast Host. And so, like, you know, the VPE, the membership or whatever at Free Toast Host, only the people within your club can send to that email address. And for people outside your club, you can pick like a contact us email address, but within the system, you have to define an email address that already exists, somebody already in your club. So the emailing, it just, you know, you might have to get an email from Google or purchase, you know, a G Suite for $5 a month or something like that. This system does not give you an email system, but it gives you a phenomenal website system, great tutorials on their system, how all this stuff works.
Great point. And there it says Free Toast Host does not provide email accounts with email storage. But it does say here, these are public accessible under the individual club officers. So those would be correct, Lisa. Those would actually be so consistent that anybody not a member could email the president?
As long as you've marked them as public. So you get the opportunity to mark them public or not. And it's only with a group or one address that it can do that. So like members dash whatever your club number is, that will never become public. So you don't get all that spam into your entire group.
Which is good. Thank you. And to your earlier point about website being very helpful, I did neglect to point that out here under this website. I'm logged in as a member. This now is a viable link. Website support docs takes me to the Free Toast Host development site. And right here's a great link using the agenda, members view of the agenda. I demonstrated this a little bit, but here is a better step-by-step description on how to set up an agenda and how to communicate an agenda. Are you planning to attend the meeting? Uncertain, yes or no. So all of these descriptions are defined pretty well.
Brian, could you pull up one of our agendas?
Yeah.
Because there was something that I wanted to point out, and actually
current or the past?
Scroll down a little bit to where it says Toastmaster introduces speakers. No, well,
sorry, I went too far. Okay.
Yeah. So when we set up this template, and this is something we do in our club, but it's not the default way this comes out. Usually there's a time for the speaker one, a time for the speaker two. Mm-hmm. And the way we set this up is we put a block of time for the speaking portion, and that is at 8:04 to 8:25. Mm-hmm. And then speaker one and speaker two we put in as 0 minutes. So when you go through and set this up, if you hit the print preview button, mm-hmm. it's going to show, it just shows the times at the start of the speaking. It shows the time for table topics and the time for general evaluation. Mm-hmm. And it allows you to block your time a little bit. So you can either list the start and stop time of every event,
right,
or you can group some together. And that's just a little bit of experimentation.
Yeah, we've done it both ways. I think when we first started this, we had individual times on each role. And that micromanagement of the time was a challenge when speaking times changed. I prefer the block time, so it gives you more flexibility to just add 5 more minutes and bump times around.
Mm-hmm. If you've got questions, you can raise your hand, or you could type them right into the Q&A box, which is there should be a Q&A button on either the bottom or the top of your screen. Or you can raise your hand and we can unmute you. But I haven't seen any questions come in yet. Which means you must have covered the material well, Brian.
Excellent. That's good to hear. or so unwell that I bored everyone.
Well, I'll tell you what, we are coming up on 7:45. I'll keep my eyes open, but I want to thank everyone for coming out tonight and taking a look at this webinar. I'm hoping and I'm pretty sure that this has been beneficial. Brian, I want to thank you for coming out and participating. Next week, our webinar is going to be on speech contests, and we've got a real treat next week as well. The title of next week's Toolbox Tuesday is "So You Want to Enter a Speech Contest." Our presenter next week is the 2017 District 6 champion for the International Speech Contest, Mark Skipper. And Mark is going to talk about, what's involved in putting together a speech in a speech contest and some of the benefits of being in a speech contest and things that he's learned along the way. And I got to see Mark compete in Vancouver last year, not this, I guess now 2 years ago, but it's quite an experience. So if you can, Brian, if you want to pull up the District 106 website, I saw it wasn't up there yet, but I'll show people where they can go.
Yes,
You're not sharing your screen anymore.
No, I brought it. I'll bring it back up.
Yep. So if you go on to the District 6 website and maybe just refresh this.
You bet. I'll start at the top. So refresh the page. I'll start at the top when it comes up. Oh, it is refreshed, but I'll start at the top of the page. So
yep. And then scroll all the way down to the bottom or towards the bottom. You'll see Toolbox Tuesday. And later tonight, you'll see this pop up. It'll say January 15th and the new thing. And if you follow the link, you'll be able to get in and register for that event. Similar to how this one works. Don't register for Free Toast Host because it's over.
Yeah, it's over.
Anyway, I didn't see any questions come up. I don't see anything on chat. No hands. Brian, Lisa, thank you so much for coming out and sharing your information with you. This is important and it's great information to share. I want to thank everyone for making a commitment to serve your clubs better. This has been Toolbox Tuesday, and we'll see you next week. Thanks a lot.